or through the phone. And with ICT's research, from the research that we have done over time, we have found out that ICTs played a very, very important role in helping us to be able to increase this access to healthcare delivery. So, and like I said, I'm going to tell the conversation more around the pharmacist. Right? So the status quo, like I have up out there, the pharmaceutical care is a practice in which pharmacists assume responsibility for the patient's drug-related needs, problems, and outcomes. This is what I got based on the research. That profession is driven by two major values. And again, I'm not a pharmacist, but this is just based on research I did. And please excuse me, you can always, hopefully we have a discussion about this later on. The value of managing medicines in a safe and reliable way, and the value of treating patients as a person with particular needs, values, cultures, and beliefs. However, what we realize in that in sub-Saharan Africa, the sub-Saharan Africa is primarily focused on product and distribution end of the job, with the patient-oriented services really, really lacking and being ignored. So what does that really mean? That means that most of the pharmacists in sub-Saharan Africa are just mostly focused on just selling their medicines. And they don't do the other things which are more patient-centric, helping the patients, for instance, to understand how to take their medications, making sure that they have the proper medications, for instance, and all that. And the practice has left huge gaps in service delivery and many negative effects in the healthcare system in this region. Talking about the problem, there is a shortage, first of all, in sub-Saharan Africa for pharmacists. One of the things we found out about in January is that there are 619 pharmacists, actually 2.9 million people. And that is really, really a huge shortage. And then there is lack of technology has led to inefficiencies within the system, leading to very high costs and less accessibility. So let me speak to that a little bit. So what is happening also is that because the processes are very, very manual, from the point where somebody goes to a doctor to get the prescription, to the point where they come over to a pharmacist, first of all, the doctors and the pharmacists are not really connected like we have here. And then the piece of paper that is from the time it takes for the patient to bring it over to the pharmacist, before the pharmacist can process it, and there are no systems to be able to track and make sure all those things are being processed well. With a lot of these inefficiencies and gaps within the system, to close these inefficiencies, what is happening is that the system actually puts fees at certain areas within this whole chain. And as a result, the cost of providing the services become high. So this is one of the issues that will hopefully we are solving with the help of technology. Limited use of technology or pharmacists restricts their ability to manage and deliver medicines in a safe and reliable way. The focus on the product-centric approach as opposed to the patient-focused approach overlooks the specific needs of the patients and who are the core beneficiaries of the process. Again, I can't emphasize more on that specific point again, where the pharmacist is becoming more of a job as opposed to focusing really on the patient and making sure that the patient can get the services that they need, because they are actually serving the patients, and that is what their responsibilities are. Dangers of healthcare delivery. Pharmacists are limiting their own rules to labeling and record keeping, and many dispenses of medicine has led to hiring of untrained and unqualified staff. And again, that is another issue where I'll get to the solutions later that we kind of solve here with the labels that we have on prescriptions. But then the system out there is going to hire people to do those different things that we can actually handle with the label. And as a result, the cost of the service is high. And when the cost is high, very few people can afford it. Then the delivery is less. Weak levels of pharmacist-patient communication, only face-to-face encounters. and listing non-feedback mechanisms that provide insights into the patient's experience. Patients do not acknowledge pharmacists as healthcare providers, and pharmacists do not position healthcare services in their value, leading to a cycle of dysfunction. So a pharmacist a pharmacist will get a prescription, even talking to the patient, perhaps finding out a little bit about their patient history, maybe saying that that prescription, if they have already found out, will know that that prescription may not be a good idea for that patient, and they have to call the doctor to kind of make sure that is that the right prescription they should be getting for the patient. Yet they don't have that means to call the doctor because there is no connection at all. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about possible solutions. So ICTs, like I mentioned earlier, how we can reshape possible solution, how ICTs can reshape professional work for community pharmacists. Adopting ICT-based systems is expected to achieve effectiveness, support clinical decision-making, improve patient privacy. ICT is taking a stronger role as a mediator of generation, transmission, and receipt prescription between doctors and community pharmacists. And it serves as professionals in decision-making by eliminating unnecessary activities, taking mundane tasks, and providing process information. So an example of how we are making this work in Africa. The way we are making this work is one of the things that we talked about earlier, having an integrated system that has all these different stakeholders talking to each other. One of the things that we have done is that we have built a system that addresses the needs of doctors, pharmacists, opticians, most of these service providers. And at the core, we have the insurance system that allows all these different entities to be able to talk to each other. So basically what happens is that a doctor, for instance, will prescribe a prescription to a patient, as opposed to that patient taking a piece of paper and then going over to the pharmacist to have that prescribed. The doctor will send that stuff electronically. And by the time the patient gets to the pharmacist already has all that information. And if there is any question or anything like that, the pharmacist can resolve that with the doctor. But then what that does is that eliminates some of those inefficiencies of those manual processes that we had earlier on. And then again, when we eliminate those manual processes, what happens is that the price for the service comes down and more people will have access to these services. For the pharmaceutical market in Africa is expected to reach a business opportunity of 45 billion in 2020, that's per Newswire. There is increasing use in Africa with 20%, increasing use of internet in Africa with 20% increase since the last year. And that's one of the things that we have realized, the explosion of the internet in Africa. And even in the rural areas, one of the things that we realized too was that, one of the things we realized in the rural areas was that even with the deficiencies with the internet, one of the ways that we were solving this problem of the communication between the pharmacists and the different stakeholders, we were able to do GSM technology using mobile phones, and be able to transmit that communication through GSM. And that is how we have been able to get some rural areas to be able to communicate back and forth with these service providers.
Just to clarify,
right.
The currency is in dollars, right? $45 billion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So to sum it up, I really like this this quote that I read. Pharmacists should move from behind the counter and start serving the public. By providing care instead of pills only, there is no future in the mere act of dispensing. This can be done and be taken over by the internet, machines, and highly trained technicians. The fact that pharmacists have academic training and act as healthcare professionals puts a burden upon them to better serve their community than they currently do. So, in summation, we, technology, like I mentioned again, we are using technology to really take over and eliminate a lot of the mundane tasks that pharmacists typically would do, automating all those things, allowing them to be able to switch between brands and generics like we do here. And by so doing, we are actually bringing down the cost of healthcare delivery and increasing access. So, thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Engler, thank you for the presentation, and this is very important. This is just a comment. Currently, in my second to last year in the master program of healthcare and pharmacy informatics. And so, there's a need for pharmacists to go into the informatics because we are very knowledgeable, of course, with the medication, and you see a lot of medication-related errors based on visibility, you know, with prescription to begin. I believe that since technology is increasing tremendously globally, you know, I believe the ICT is a very important tool that can be utilized as pharmacists in the U.S. to even help our fellow colleagues back home to have integrated practices to actually improve patient quality of life. I mean, that's our main goal, to improve quality of life. So this is a good presentation.
Thank you. And that's actually the second step, because the first step now is big. We want to make sure that those service providers within Africa are totally connected. But then now the next step would be telemedicine. Actually, even having pharmacists be able to communicate with pharmacists here back in Africa, be able to coordinate and do work together, and that's really going to, you know, provide better service for patients and hopefully bring down increase access to healthcare delivery. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your presentation. So, I think in terms of IT, one of the questions I have is, how do we make the language more comprehensible for people in rural areas, and also in languages that people can read and understand? Because we have a highly illiterate population also in the rural areas. Are we looking at language in probably certain main African countries, maybe Chi, Ga, Swahili, something that people can relate to and understand, and certainly not in medical terminology, because that would be lost, because we're trying to reach a population and educate them about what they're taking.
That is a very good point, and we are doing that. And the reason we're also doing that is because what has been happening is that a lot of pharmacists and other healthcare institutions before would come here and buy software and take back to Africa and try to adapt it and use it there, and it doesn't work because, like you said, language issues. And then when they turn around to get support, there's no one they can get support from because they bought the software from here. Most of the time, these institutions, from what we have seen, just abandon them and move forward. What we have done is that we are building an army of African engineers in these different areas. So what we're doing with our software in Ghana is that we read, for instance, Kwi, one of the languages that I know is very, very common. We are actually going to have that as part of the languages that we're going to have within the systems that we use to make sure that those people in those different areas can understand and they can use it to be able to do their work. So it's a very, 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 very important point. The key about it is that what we are providing in Africa, we're making sure there's stuff that is really targeted for that market, what can work for that market, and what the people understand and what people can use.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, I know that counterfeit drugs is a huge problem in Africa. And IT seems to be one of the locus of the possible solution that could be comprehensive. And my partner and I, actually, we have an IT product coming out. We're trying to launch it in a couple of months.
Okay.
And so, but it's for the US.
Right.
But we're also looking at other things in Africa.
Right.
So probably we would like to live with you after the
Absolutely.
session, so we can discuss some of these things here.
Absolutely. I would very glad to meet you as well. Yes, sir.
Thanks for the presentation. So one of the key things I noticed, IT in itself can go so far, but then if you're able to convince healthcare professionals back home the impact of appreciating IT, that transforms everything.
Right.
How are you bringing healthcare professionals back home on board, considering the fact that they are stuck in their ways and how they do things, how do you actually show them the value for them to change their old ways to come on board?
That is a very, very good question. And the way that we have to realize is that mostly you have to talk to them. But then how do you get a large group of them together like in a room, and so you can talk to them, have that conversation with them so they can start doing what you want them to do. What we have figured out is that you start by working with the institutions that can actually bring most of these people together. And the insurance companies mostly are really there, kind of like at the core of everything, because these hospitals and service providers have to work with insurance companies. So we're working with insurance companies and partnering with them and say, okay, if you're working with these service providers, can you have them, when we bring them all in together in a room and have these discussions, train them and educate them about these things, why it is important and why they should be doing these things. So, and that by that way we have a large group of them, and by that way, bit by bit, the information starts flowing through. But that is one of the ways that we have figured out in terms of disseminating that information out to the public. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I think the problem is not with the professionals not knowing the importance of technology and their services. The main problem is maintenance. I was the director of pharmacy for a teaching hospital, a very large teaching hospital in Ghana, Kumasi, and we networked our facility. So there was a time that doctors could write prescriptions, they see the patient, right, and then electronically it was transferred to the pharmacy. But maintaining was the problem. Those who, the software providers who came to install the equipment could not maintain it. So within a short time, we stopped using this.
They pay for just for the software and not for the maintenance. And that's the problem with the African market.
That is the main problem.
So, and again, it speaks to a broader problem that I talked about earlier. The fact that, again, a lot of this software that this company used before, with software that they bought from companies, for instance, from India, and they will have these experts come and meet with them for a few days and then leave. What we are doing in Africa, for instance, in Ghana, we have a development team right there on the ground. Whereas if there are any issues with the software, you have a bunch of guys right there, Ghanaians, that are going to work with you and resolve them. And by doing that, we have realized that by having these local tech teams on the ground, it helps tremendously with that maintenance issue. And
So maybe the contacts is also another problem. They may be in Accra, working with probably the Ghana Health Service. So those in the teaching hospitals may not know anything about them. So how can we establish